One morning, you just walk in with a bag of everyone's faves from McDonald's, drop it on the counter, and say, breakfast is on me. Boom! That's the power of saving money on the McDonald's app. Hope you can handle all that. Save money with the app. At participating McDonald's, must opt into rewards.
A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is now streaming on Hulu.
Ask me, ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them, we'll read them, then we'll give you answers. You know it, I've got it. I've got the answer, the answer. You ask me, I'll tell you anything.
Nobody at home can see this, but I am actually filming in front of a window, and no exaggeration, I look perfect.
It's
I look
really good
perfect.
lighting.
It is a middle part, low ponytail, athletic bra, all cream background, indicating that not only do I have my life figured out, but I could coach you to a better life. But I'm too much of a bitch and too busy moisturizing with ashwagandha and doing my asanas to care if another mother is drowning.
You're not
That's
spilling
vibe.
anything. You're not getting anything on those cream-colored walls.
Don't touch my cream-colored walls, Gerard.
Dirty little
Cream.
fingers aren't touching those walls.
All cream, everything, all day, which is a vibe. Winter white on winter white. I mean, in my own home, I don't do a ton of color because then you might look tacky and people would judge you. And I can't have that. You can judge everything else.
But you are not tacky, above all things.
Above all things, but honestly, I'm just like, I'm desperately afraid of color. That
You're
is going to
wearing
get,
a nice pop of green.
I am, and I am trembling inside.
So scared.
That's going to get ripped like comedian Elijah Schultz. I'm afraid of color. You got me. I'm not bold with my interior choices. You got me. Gray is my friend.
Well, what did you used to say about your old house? It was it Scarface?
Robert De Niro's house in Heat, which I'm sure will resonate with every single one of our female listeners.
Mm-hmm.
Sparse, glass, metal, cold, walk away in 30 seconds. Yeah. You are listening to this on a Wednesday, which means I'm about to be on my way to Atlantic City and Hanover, Maryland. This tour has started. I was thinking of, for my special, not even wearing pants, but just wearing black tights. I saw a drag queen doing this and I was like, oh, we have the same proportions. Black tights, a thong, and a belt.
You always go for like normal top and then you're like, what weird thing can I do with my pants?
I like to get weird. I like to let
just
one
on
thing
the bottom.
speak for it. Yeah, just on the bottom. I don't know. I like a fun pant. But I was listening to last week's episode and I feel like you've gotten very good. I do. I listen for quality assurance because I notice how often you and I speak over each other, but I think that's something we wouldn't do as much in person. So I will blame this recording mechanism versus the timing.
The cues are very different. Even though you can see each other on a recording, I think the visual cues of someone being about to continue their sentence are different on a recording.
Yeah, you can hear me. I can see you rearing up. I can see your little whale neck, like gearing back when you don't agree with something. But I really like the questions, and I feel like we're getting less homogenized questions, and we're getting specific ones that ultimately do have to do with you need to forget about that friend. But I'm liking where they're heading, and I like all the new listeners to the podcast we've been getting.
Yes, and I would like to say we want your questions. We are always looking for more questions. You can email askelizapodcast@gmail.com. We want your questions, please.
And with that, let's fight someone. And with that, let's fight a listener.
From Meg, not anonymous, doctoral student mom from Lancaster, PA, who is too busy for thank you note nonsense.
Can we please agree as a society to stop sending thank you notes after children's birthday parties? I understand doing this after a wedding because those are more expensive gifts that you probably put a lot more thought into. But do I really have to send a thank you note for my 6-year-old who you brought a pack of stickers and a bubble wand for? Like, the exchange for a birthday party is I'm providing the entertainment and food for the afternoon. Do I really have to send a thank you note? Fight me.
Yes, and here's why. It's not for you, Meg. It is to make your child go through the grueling and arduous and tedious process of the reciprocation. They've been given a gift and now they have to thank someone. You spent the money. They didn't. They didn't do anything. So they should be writing you a thank you note, but it's more. And it sucks because it just ends up being the parent, especially if the kid's younger, writing the note and the kid has to sign it. But I do think introducing the kid to the concept of gratitude and manners is what it's about. Nobody actually, I will be honest with you, I have given many a gift to a friend for a birthday or a shower, something a little bit more formal, I guess, than a birthday. And I said, please don't write me a thank you note. I know you're thankful. Like, I don't need one from an adult. It is a nice thing to do to let you know that they got the gift, but it's always like, thank you so much for this spatula and dish towel. Like, we cannot wait to use them in our home.
I'll think of you when I flip pancakes.
You know, but for the kid, it is about saying like, hey, these people did not have to bring you gifts. And you are saying, thank you for taking the time, which is a precious commodity to come to my party. But yeah, it does fall on the parent. So it sucks.
So if it's like a 1-year-old, no, right? Like it's when they're old enough that you are going to go through the exercise with them.
It's tough though. I mean, then like, where do we end up as a civilized society? Just like sending stuff, like sending anything, having no indication if someone received it, whether you're giving them a gift or one of your cookbooks or your book and you're like, or anything, an email, an outline, a script. And you're just like, did this just go into a black hole? And so we get to a place where it's like, you just ignore it if you want to. I can understand if that person hurt you or bothered you, but like now you're just like, sometimes it's not enough to feel good having done it. You actually want to make sure the person got it.
Yes, I do hate when you want to check in. You don't want to be like, hey, did you get the generous gift I sent you? But you also be like, hey, did this get stolen from your porch?
It also sounds passive aggressive. You're like, hey, I don't want to thank you. They're like, I wasn't planning on giving you one. And you're like, I just want to make sure you got it, which in turn makes them feel rude. Like, hey, you mannerless twit. It's been a year. Did you get it? And they're like, oh my God, I did. Do you want to hear my hack? Because I know better and I know that I should be writing a thank you note. Sometimes I will send people a text and I will say, I just want you to know how much I loved X, Y, and Z. I am currently out of my thank you stationery, so I didn't want you to think I was a medieval monster. That way, I don't have to write the note and they know I thought about them. And quite frankly, often people don't want to receive a note. Just like I don't want to receive a Christmas card, having nothing to do with the holiday and more to do with I don't need a picture of your family that I've literally never met. Thank you so much. I still put them in my kitchen anyway.
Do you have a thought on, I have a thank you card sitting that I haven't written yet that's like 3 weeks.
You got to do it. No, there's no.
From the thing. I could still do it now, right? There's not a statute of limitations.
You could write on the back of the envelope, apologies for the belated letter. That's it. You don't have to give an excuse. And it's just nice. Nobody's ever like, wow, it's Matt time. They're like, oh, I will take apart that voodoo doll I made of her.
All right,
but
let's
that's
get
the
into
answer.
questions.
Right.
Yeah, you answered that.
By the way,
that was almost a fight.
Of the things that we do, it's a half fight. It's a slap tickle. Most of the things we do, like I don't need to say please and thank you as much as I do, but I do it in front of my daughter because she needs to know there ain't no free lunch.
Right.
Except the lunch she eats, which is free because she has no money. Oh,
so sad for her.
So bad for her. Sucks to have no money. Sucks to be you, Sierra.
Yeah, she has a tough life.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp.
I know being thankful is on everyone's minds, and with thankfulness comes gratitude, a concept that honestly really bothers me. I'm tired of thanking everyone else. You know who deserves a thank you? Me. You deserve a thank you. When's the last time you thanked yourself? Sometimes it's hard to remind ourselves that we are doing the absolute best we can So here I am reminding you to send some thanks to the people in your life, but mostly send some thanks to yourself. And a great way to do that is with therapy. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and it's suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and you get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time, no additional charge. You don't have to travel anywhere. They take the hassle out of finding that perfect therapist. Let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Iliza today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Iliza. Fall has fallen. Winter is on its way. The days are shorter. But just because, they feel shorter. And just because the days feel shorter doesn't mean your to-do list gets any shorter. You still have to power through your busy days. And a great way to do that is with nutritious food from Factor's no prep, no mess meals. At the end of a short day in the fall or the winter, the last thing you want to do is have to cook. Factor has got you covered from breakfast, snacks, dinner, anything in between. Factor has easy, nutritious options to keep you fueled, like their chicken Florentine with spinach and garlic chili cauliflower. You bet. That's what I want to make myself at the end of a day where I am exhausted and my husband isn't home. Whether you like routine or you enjoy mixing things up, Factor has you covered with 35 different delicious meals every week and over 60 additional convenience options you can add on, like keto cookies, pressed juices, and smoothies. And because Factor meals are chef prepared and dietitian approved, you're going to love not only Factor's meals taste, but also how they support your goals, even if your goal was just making yourself dinner. Head to factormeals.com/Iliza50 and use code Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month. That's code Iliza50 at factormeals.com/Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. So finally, fall is here. I have been looking forward to it. I have had a hard year in a good way. I had a baby. I have been on a nonstop tour, nonstop traveling, and it's been hot. So I'm looking forward to, of course, pumpkin spice, everything, cooler weather, and slipping into a cozy sweater from Quince. I've talked about Quince before. Quince has beautiful leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim, and so much more. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Dressing expensive doesn't have to be expensive. Their clothing is beautiful, it's durable, it stands the test of time, and it's what I like to call a capsule wardrobe. I got an Italian wool cocoon coat. That's one of those, it's got like a European collar and it covers my butt so I can walk around New York City and not be chilly. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/Iliza for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Iliza to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Iliza.
All right. Hello to my sage pseudo-internet aunts and company. So now you've been upgraded from sister to aunt. How do you feel about that?
I feel old. That means I'm too old to be your sister. Oh, no. And then it's even older if it's auntie.
Right. This is just aunt and...
I'm an old black lady. That's me.
If only.
I'm an old Southern black lady.
We can hope. Well, 20 female, which... I guess if you were her sister, that would be kind of weird.
It could happen.
It could happen.
Stranger Things, season 3. Okay.
I've been listening for a couple of years now. I think of you guys like cool aunts who have helped me ease into adulthood. So, okay, she's been listening since she was in high school. And I finally have a question to ask, and I hope Iliza can help give me some clarity. I've been with my boyfriend, 21 male, for almost a year and a half. This is my first relationship and the first healthy relationship he's been in, his and his mom's words. While there is a lot I could get into for context, I'll keep it brief. When he was 14, his father passed. He says it doesn't affect him, but he never got counseling or goes to therapy, so he never dealt with it. It so clearly affects him, but it's not my job to fix him, just support him until he's ready to go get help. This plays into my current predicament. He sucks at time management. When we make plans, he is always at least an hour late.
My God. An hour?
An hour. Oh my God. I grew up with the mindset.
Wow, your whole generation loves a gender reversal. It should be you. All right.
Right. What's he doing? I grew up with the mindset of to be early is to be on time and to be on time is to be late. So his lackadaisical approach to time management causes me a lot of anxiety. I always end up driving to his house because I don't want to be annoyed by his tardiness. We had a conversation recently about the subject, and he revealed his dad was very similar to me with his time management. He had his dad's old truck and won't change the clock, which is set 5 minutes fast. He said he thinks he's late because it's a defense mechanism that protects him from feeling things related to his dad, a trauma response that makes sense to me. My question is, how should I proceed with this and continue this conversation? I love him to death, and this isn't something I would ever break up with him over. I just don't know how to help make changes to strengthen this part of our relationship. Any advice would be very appreciated. Thank you so much. From a nursing student in Massachusetts, Isabella.
You are too young to be doing things this old. You are too young to be holding a young man accountable, okay? The choice to be late is a major personality flaw, and it's one that is steeped in some, I don't know if it's mental health, but it's definitely power struggles, and it's definitely a lack of care for other people's time and valuing other people. It is a choice to be late. You can be busy, you can be frazzled. If he was always like 5 minutes late, like whatever, get over it. An hour late shows a lack of respect for you. It does not matter that he's nice and he's sweet. At 21, he needs to grow the fuck up, and it is not your job ever to fix anyone. You are, I'm guessing, beautiful. You've got your life together. You're a nursing student. Like, you have a path ahead of you. I am guessing he doesn't, but you will have options in this life. One, because you have an education, but two, because you're on time. This is an insult to you, your time together, your relationship, and who you are. So you have two choices. You can either get over it and start to pad time and pad thai, and you can order pad thai, and you can start to shift your whole life around this immature behavior and change the way that you are, or you can break up with him. An hour late, how are you ever going to go anywhere together? And by the way, it's okay to have this trauma. It's okay to not have processed your dad, but this having never gone to therapy and this self-diagnosis about not changing the thing because I don't want this and that, that's a very complicated response to something that is so easy to change in the first place. So he, not dissimilar to the guy from our other question, we had a question last week and it was the guy and he's like, well, I was never raised right. We give men, as you are doing right now, tons of excuses for why they are not acting like adults. Forget the dad, forget everything. This is disrespectful to you. And do you want to date a child? Because that's what he's acting like.
I'm actually very offended by his answer. I think that that's an insane excuse to say that his dad was always 5 minutes early. He set his car clock 5 minutes so he'd get places on time.
Right.
So you disregard everyone else because it's too hard to be on time. Like everyone's on time.
What does that
wasn't
mean?
Unique to your dad. And also, then you are making every place that you go, you are thinking of your father in that instance because you're going, I'm not going to be like dad. I'm going to be late. That's
also, it's not like your dad.
absurd.
I don't know if he was a good or bad person, but that's what I'm saying. That is a deeply complex, but for all the wrong bullshit reasons answer. And he has spent so much time armchair psychologing his way through this weird pseudo psychology answer rather than just respect your girlfriend and be on time.
Yes.
You need to learn to find this type of behavior unattractive because he's not putting you first in any respect. And if the dad was an asshole, I guess I get it. Like, he always beat me and he was always early to beating me, but you didn't mention any of that. And it's like, my dad was 5 minutes early, therefore I cannot change the clock. And rather than be a man like him, I will always be an hour late. That is an insane answer.
And
I
also, think what's frustrating.
Smacks of I'm 21. I read Catcher in the Rye and I'm gonna like boy psychology my way through everything that gives me an excuse to never grow the fuck up.
Yeah. I think that this is maybe not what he's doing, but it's very easy to kind of pull that card of like, well, my dad's dead, so I don't have to act right. Yes, you do.
By the way, yeah. For like a few years after and while you're a minor, like that's rough. But guess what? Your brain is almost fully formed now and you didn't do anything about it. And like once you're an adult, the excuses aren't cute. Like nobody cares.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Also, just remember, like, this will worm its way into other areas of your relationship. And I promise you, if you really use that big nurse brain of yours and sit back, you can think of other ways where his behavior has made your relationship worse.
You know what I would love to know is
We
you know,
hate this
he
guy.
can't- We do. I know this poor man.
Thank you for listening since high school. We hate your choices.
I would guess he's not an hour late to job interviews.
There
to
you go.
hanging out with his friends, to something his family needs him at. To
Mhm.
now, if he was an hour late across the board, that does speak to a larger psychological problem. If he's only late to things he can know,
Find
he
out.
can get away with being late
Find
to.
out. Yep.
Different conversation.
And what were you saying the mom said? The mom says, what did the mom
The
also
mom
say?
had said that this was the first healthy relationship.
Right.
So it's our question asker's first relationship. It's his first healthy relationship.
By the way, to call it healthy at 21, how many
know.
relationships were you in and how bad were these at 21? And then the question is, are they unhealthy because of him? Like, is he the factor?
Yeah.
You need to do some real digging. And I get that he's super hot and you guys like live in South Boston and he reminds you of Mark Wahlberg, whatever, but you need to think about your future. Like, how will you ever take a trip, go anywhere together, do anything?
Yeah.
It's going to get real old real fast.
Yeah. I feel like people will tell us much worse things about their partners or friends. And we're like, and this guy, we're like, he's late every time? No.
I just think it's such a power move in the worst way. And as someone, I am never late. And I'm
No, you
so
are not.
apologetic if I am. Yeah, I take it very seriously. And guess what? My dad also would say, if you're not early, you're late. And
Yeah.
rather than, my dad is alive, but like rather than be like, I don't want to be like you did. I was like, you're right. And now I get weird anxiety and I'm always several minutes early.
You know what I can say though for you is you're early, but you're like a good amount, or you're a normal amount, or like somehow you have such an innate sense of timing. Your place is a few minutes early, you walk in, chill. I'll get places 50 minutes early and sit in my car weirdly, which is not the move, you know?
I have gone to these studios in LA enough to know that no matter how early you are, you will arrive sweating, panting, having just like crawled your way out of a parking structure.
Hi, Liza and crew, longtime listener, first time caller. I, 44.
Wait, I'm sorry. So Isabella, we want to follow up. We care about you and we're too invested now to not find out what happens or at least validate what we're saying. That's what I want.
We need validation from you.
A child. I need it. Let us know. Let me know if I'm a little bit right. Okay.
Hi, Liza and crew, longtime listener, first time caller. I, 44 female, have been an awkward hugger my entire life. And I married one of the best huggers on the planet, 42 male. When we hang out with friends, acquaintances, randos we just met, whoever, he hugs everyone. It leaves an awkward moment for me because these people look at me expecting a hug. So I give a sad half hug with a pat on the back that no one likes. It's bad. How do I convey to people that I'm not a good hugger and just don't like them without being an asshole? For context, I like hugs from my nearest and dearest, so I'm not a complete monster. When people expect a hug from you, what do you do? Thanks. And we're very excited for your Seattle show next week at one of my favorite Seattle venues, Annie.
Oh, yeah. I decided, just real quick, most important of all, I played Seattle last fall at the Paramount, love coming here, but I'm up here a bunch this summer, so I decided to just run my hour, and it sold out so fast that we added a second show, so I will be at the Crocodile, which is a beloved Seattle venue, small venue. Scoop up those tickets, come and see me. It's the 18th and the 28th. It's on their website. Yeah, you know, I wonder why you don't like hugging. And I wonder if it's that you don't really care about the people or that's just not how you express yourself. Part of me wants to say, get over it. The other part of me wants to say, nobody cares if you give a bad hug. The awkwardness the awkwardness does not come from the actual hug. It comes from the microsecond before where it's like, If your husband hugs someone, that means perhaps you guys are all close enough. You're going to someone's house. Just hug them. And you can give a quick pat. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think you have to think about it. And if they're really close, you can always like confess to your friends what a bad hugger you are. But like the only time I don't want to give a hug is to like male comics that I tangentially know. And they're like, what's up, sweetie? And I'm like, I don't need to mash my breasts against you. Like, I get that you want to feel like I know you. Like, but you just do it. You do it and you pat to let them know, like, I'm not liking this either.
Yeah. I think there are a few feelings worse than thinking someone's going in for a hug, so you do, and then they're not, and then they think you are. Like that time when you think you think someone's waving at you, you think someone's going to hug you, and then they're like, ugh, and then
Always
they have to
be
hug you.
holding two huge grocery bags filled with spaghetti. Be like, but like, I
Sorry.
don't know, or hang back. And you know what? Because I've done this before for sure. Not so much that Noah hugs someone, but everyone hugs, and I'm just like, hey. You could do the hey, and most people, like, if you don't move at all, they won't go in for it.
Do a finger guns.
No,
from
have your
afar.
hands occupied. Always be holding dumbbells. ABHD.
In the interest of, I'm going to attack this man like I did the last question asker's boyfriend. Is anyone pumped to get a hug every time they see a 42-year-old man?
Yeah, sometimes when they're really big, you're not going to enjoy most hugs. Just understand that.
But it's right, because there's not like, okay, if I were to see you again, ever, I mean, like, if I flew out there right now and saw you, it's like, we're not going to do a handshake.
I would
guess
hug you. I would hold
kind of
my
do
breath.
A hug.
And I would hold you. And I would hug you.
You
You know who you want to hug?
would hold me.
I would hug you and hold my breath. You know who you want to hug from? Like a 65-year-old, half Native American, half country, like grandmother who's been through addiction and understands life and was maybe abused but came out the other end and just wants to be there for you. Like one of those hugs, like, you'll be all right, baby girl. Like, that's what you want. A hug from someone who's been through some shit.
A hug from your peer group? Absolutely not. What's the point? What
no,
are we
you know
transferring?
I want a hug from like another athlete after one of us has assisted or scored a goal. Like a sweaty, like, that's right. Did you watch the men's basketball Olympics?
No.
Oh my God, it was
all
the
I've watched
cutest
is
thing.
ray gun, nothing
They
else.
spanked France and Steph Curry. I love trash talk. And he just kept putting his hands to his son going, night, 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 night. And he and LeBron would look at each other and go, night, night. So just seeing like two billionaires who are my age just be like, night, night. It was very cute. Two billionaire Olympians. Night, night. Anyways, somewhere in there is your answer.
Right.
No one
You
wants
can
a hug
figure it
anyway.
out.
The only people who want hugs are men who are unaware of social boundaries, men that don't know what's going on. Anyone in a meeting in Hollywood who you've met before, you have to hug them and then pitch a show that they say no to. And women who just need a moment.
Speaking of women who just need a moment, we have a question with the subject line, my best friend thinks I hate her, ? Or something, which I think distills down to most of this show, which is women being like, what am I doing?
The show should be called, Did I Do Something Wrong?
Oh my God, exactly. Yeah, like, you take a moment to yourself, you think about it, and then you're like, oh no. So, hi, Iliza and Emily and crew. I'll get right into it. I have a really good friend I tell everything to, all of our shitty decisions, especially relating to dating. We tell each other. We're no better or worse than the other, and we love making the same mistakes repeatedly.
Great.
I like that self-awareness. Something my friend does that really boggles me is tell me something and then say she feels like I'm judging her for it. I don't know if there's something I'm doing or if she's projecting her own insecurities onto my perception of her or if she's joking. Every time I tell her, of course not, but there's something hurtful in the assumption, like she doesn't think I'm a kind or understanding person. She recently went away for the weekend with an ex out of nowhere, and while that ex isn't good for her, I understand the craving for intimacy since we've both been single for so long, and I'm guilty of similar bad behavior. But when I asked how it happened, she got dodgy about it over text, and when I said she was being weird, she said she was just busy. I feel like her fear of my judgment or the lack of trust or whatever will make us less close, especially as she can be very avoidant already. I love her so much. We have so much in common. I want to hold on to her. Thank you for making my Wednesday mornings more interesting, Kay.
It is a reflex that women say when they need to get something off their chest. Like, oh my God, I feel like you're judging me. And the translation of that is, I'm judging myself and I want to get ahead of it because I don't want to feel bad if you are judging me. So I'm going to project on you that you are judging me, letting you know, hey, I already know that what I did was bad and questionable and I don't want to hear it. It's this weird thing where you want to vent and you want to lay yourself bare, but you don't want to deal with the repercussions. What you are saying to her is, this is a safe space. I don't judge you. We all judge. That's an insane thing. This like requisite that's put on women, like, and don't judge. To think is to judge. To draw a conclusion is to judge. But being judgy is different. you judged because you were like, it's an ex-boyfriend, but I understand judge can be a good thing or a bad thing. Judges can rule in your favor. I think you need to call her or meet with her and say to her, I want to let you know something. You can tell me anything. I love you so much. And something that I love about us is that we both make the same types of decisions and we're always there for each other. And I want you to know that sometimes you'll be like, I feel like you're judging me. And you just be like, I'm here. And you won't get any of that from me. And I think she won't even remember that she said it. And you don't want to make it about you, but you're like, it hurts my feelings because I just want you to know that like I tell you stuff too. So I hope that you're not judging me either. But I would also hope that if I needed to tell you something important, I could tell you that. That's all. Like you're coming from the purest place. And she felt embarrassed that she told you. And by the way, you may have given her an answer since this was over text that felt miscommunicated. Maybe you were like, oh, or, oh, that's crazy, or ... Like texting will ruin civilization because there's no tone. It's all inferred.
I do also think, though, in the same way that you can't change a boyfriend, you're saying she's avoidant. She does that, you want to be close with her. You're worried that this is going to affect your relationship. So that's also your insecurity where she thinks everything's fine. You guys just have different communication styles and you're probably not going to change that about her. So you just have to be okay with knowing that you're her friend.
You can also be like, you can always tell me anything. We can always laugh about it. Like what you also have to realize is like, I have friends who make decisions I do not agree with, but at the end of the day, I'm still their friend. Like that's what a friend is. I mean, one thing if my friend was like shooting heroin through her eyeballs or like leaving her baby unattended. But for the most part, I don't know. They're living their lives. And it's not really for me to say do or don't do it unless I genuinely feel like something horrible is about to happen. But even if my friend sleeps with a shitty ex-boyfriend or my friend, I'm trying to think of anything that they do, has friends that I don't like or does things I don't like. At the end of the day, I'm like, am I not going to call them and text them? No.
Right.
At the end of the day, these things don't really matter unless it is like chipping away at their life, the foundation of your friendship. But like their personal choices, like as long as she's not coming to you and venting and talking about why it's awful and then doing it over and over and you have to keep hearing about it. But it doesn't sound like she is. So just tell her all the things that I already said. And then it's all her. Then it's her insecurity and her embarrassment at that choice. She's embarrassed. She made a bad choice. That has nothing to do with you. And you want to make sure that it continues to have nothing to do with you.
I've noticed that, at least since I've had my babies, that I smell differently when I sweat. Maybe I'm just like getting older. I don't know, but I smell differently. And I don't love that. If I'm on set or if I'm on stage or if I'm doing anything like functioning in public and I don't want sweat stains or to be aware of my stinky pits, that's when I turn to Lumi Whole Body Deodorant because it keeps me smelling fresh all day. Lumi is seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. Pits, under boobs, right ladies, thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, your feet. It's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. How? Well, unlike certain traditional deodorants that may try to mask odor with a fragrance, Lumi is formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts. Lumi's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. If you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off the starter pack. Use code Iliza for 15% off your first purchase at lumideodorant.com. That's code Iliza at LUMEDEODORANT.com.
The holidays are here. And for a lot of us, the holidays mean decorating, hosting, celebrating. For me, it means a lot of traveling, and nothing feels better year round, but especially during the cozy holidays, than a restful night's sleep in soft, luxurious sheets. Boll & Branch's signature sheets are made with the finest 100% organic cotton, and they get softer with every single wash. You already know that I got Boll & Branch this summer when I needed breathable sheets to sleep in, but this holiday season, I'm actually gifting some of my friends and family Boll & Branch's Ultimate Softness Bundle. I get to choose a signature hem sheet set in any color, a signature hem pillow set, and a waffle bed blanket. And they're all getting juniper because I think it's a classy color. This way, you know you have something nice to sleep on when you visit. It's the perfect gift for you and them. Gift you and your loved ones a better night's sleep with Boll & Branch. And right now is their best offer of the entire year. For 25% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets, head to bollandbranch.com/Iliza. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Iliza for 25% off. Limited time only. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
Just noticing my nails are so long right now because I just like haven't looked in a mirror in like 2 weeks, but like it's very influencer.
Yeah.
My nails. Too long?
No. I mean, it depends if you like crack them on something.
There's something weirdly gross about a natural long nail.
Just so loose. Yeah. I mean, it is.
So long.
When you see people that have the super long ones and they're natural because they're like between paint jobs, it's like, oh.
By the way, I think your nerves grow into them. And that's why
What?
people can't cut them. I may be making that up.
What if you're like the lady in the Guinness book with the curly cues?
It's just only women do stuff like that. Where like, it's a fashion statement that's going to limit my mobility, but I can still fuck.
I saw an ad on, I'm sure, social media for a special cover you put on your keyboard so that you can type on the keys with long nails. It basically raises each key up in the very center so that your nails go around it. I was like, why? Or just...
The world is going to get so fatigued of this long nail trend. Like, give it like 2 years. That being said, I am getting a custom nail set made for my new special.
Are you getting it by that woman that I feel like I now started following because you were following her?
Vivian?
Who does a lot of like Disney stuff?
Yes.
I was just looking at that the other day and I was like, oh my God, these are incredible. And I saw you followed her.
I was
can't wait
blown
to
away
see.
at this girl's artistry. Granted, I'm not getting any Disney characters. So I just DM'd her and I was like, I'm sure she won't answer. And she was like, oh my God, I would love to. So I'm getting my nail kit in the mail. And I was like, here's the name of the special I'm thinking. Here's the vibe I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What's so impressive about her is that people, as far as I can tell, they give her
give her
like
a shout
kind of
out.
just, yeah. The Instagram is VIVXUE
VIVXUE
on Instagram. Mhm.
on Instagram. She is so cute. And all of her videos make it look like she's like, I just made the biggest mistake. And then like the narrative changes. She's like, and then I did the Sistine Chapel on a pinky toe.
But the fact that she takes people who are like, oh, I want Disney and bubbles. And she just her imagination. It's not just rote copying of images she
No,
sees.
it's
Like she
go to the
crafts
Instagram.
them. Yeah.
I don't know
Amazing.
that our demo for this podcast are like fake nail wearers, but this goes beyond click clack acrylic nails.
Oh,
This girl
yeah.
is a genious artist. Anyways, check her out.
I was researching the site and I was like, oh, they're reusable? Like
Send her a DM. Let her know that we sent you.
well, only if you're going to buy something. Don't looky-loo and then DM.
No, I mean, I'm sure she would like some followers.
All right. Next question. Dear AIA team, for context, I am 28, female. About 15 years ago, my parents had a heartbreaking divorce that ended in my dad moving away and my mom being alone. After years of getting back on her feet and re-entering the dating world, she finally found a really sweet gentleman about 3 years ago who has been an authentic and real part of my brother and I's life, as well as a committed partner to my mom. When my mom and this guy, JT, first got together, JT was very forthcoming about his previous marriage and family, which had ended horribly years prior. JT willingly admitted and showed evidence for a nasty divorce, one in which his ex-wife ended up suing him for physical abuse. My brother, mom, and I all read the lawsuit and decided we would give JT a chance. Flash forward 3 years, and JT has been nothing but a delight and a blessing to our family. He's attentive, participatory, and most of all, he makes my mom really happy. Besides not contributing much financially, he has done nothing to taint his reputation and connection with our family. I mean, that's a big one. Okay.
Besides having an abuse record and not contributing financially, he's a delight. He just sits there. Okay.
Right. Like a rock. Now for the drama. Last week, JT left town by himself to take care of some business/caretaking items a few states away. This has been a routine part of his life, and we didn't think anything of it. However, on Monday, my
He's
mom
not divorced.
received
He's not divorced. He's not divorced, is he?
My mom received an extremely cryptic handwritten letter addressed to her home that outlined JT's recent activity on Bumble.
Oof.
Unfortunately, the dates and locations of this Bumble activity directly correlate with where and when we knew JT to be. The letter also included a poem about how sins come back to haunt you, along with other
Ew.
disheartening sentiments. Despite this being extremely creepy and my mom being completely freaked out, even installing a security system in her house, we now have a huge dilemma. Who do we believe, JT or the letter writer? Or maybe our dilemma is what to do with this information and chain of events. I think it's ignorant to not believe that these Bumble pings are legit. Is this guy cheating on my mom? But perhaps a bigger issue, who is writing this letter? It's got to be the ex-wife, right? Is she a reliable source? We know she kind of destroyed his life years ago. Can we write her off as a crazy lady? But still, JT is popping up on Bumble. That's an issue, right? Has JT been playing a long con? Has he been an unreliable narrator all along? What are your thoughts on the situation? What are your next moves? To make matters more complicated, I'm getting married in less than a month. Not the kind of fiasco my mom or I need. Thanks for the read and advice. All the best, Marie. So then Marie shared with us a photo of this letter. Okay. So his Bumble profile and then his bio.
Why wouldn't they take a picture of it?
Right. They wrote down. So what they basically did is they wrote down his bio. They wrote down location, wrote down from, wrote down what kind of photos.
What does that say? His profile has come across my Bumble screen multiple times ever this last 4 years.
On the back, it says, mature woman sayings. Secret and lies kill relationships. No matter how careful you are, you will get caught. What's done in darkness always comes to light.
Well, I know this is a weird thing to say, but this feels like a young woman handwriting. It just does.
It does.
The way that you solve all of this is the next time you see JT, you say, hey, can I see your phone? He's 60 years old. He's dumb enough to have a Bumble profile. He will have that. If it's not, if he's smart, it'll be hidden in a folder in the back. But I bet you it's right there. I think you can out cell phone smart a 60-year-old. No
100%.
offense. Just
100%.
check. Do not give him a chance and grab it. And I will say this, good guys don't typically have domestic abuse charges on a record. And it could have been I get it. It could have been a misunderstanding. She shoved him. The cops came. He didn't do anything. And she's crazy. You have a lot of what? Just saying, check the phone.
No, I don't disagree. I think that our question asker is assuming they're assuming that the ex-wife lied, and that's how the abuse charge happened. And so now she's doing it again. I think that take the ex-wife out of the picture. I don't think this would be a very weird roundabout way to sabotage him.
I mean, somebody could establish a Bumble profile on his behalf. And if it's not on his phone, then maybe you have reasonable doubt. But check out the phone. If I asked any of my parents to see their phone, they'd be like, okay, why? But here.
Yeah.
If my husband has to see my phone, I'd be like, here, he knows my password. There's your answer right there. Literally go do it right now.
Yeah.
And let us know.
Good luck.
Also, I'd be interested to know, okay, so he's going out of town and he's routinely going out of town. Is he going back to the hometown? Maybe he's sleeping with the ex-wife. Does he have a girlfriend somewhere else? You
say he's taking care of caretaking duties that
what does that mean?
Always taken care of. Well, yeah, what
he's
does
cheating
that
on your
mean?
mom. He's cheating on your mom. He just is. The extent, I don't know. Ask to see the phone. Put this all to bed. And when you do, and there is the Bumble app on there, I do not give him a second chance.
No. He's like, I was just trying to make friends in this other
the
city.
ultimate thing to do to scam someone is if the wife put it on there and he had no idea, the ex-wife, she saw him for some sort of arrangement. I could put something on my mom's phone, she would never know.
100%.
Yeah.
I could make a fake profile of my parents. I could Photoshop it. It's very funny to me that whoever sent this letter didn't screenshot, didn't Photoshop, they just hand wrote down what they read in their profile.
Yeah.
For some weird reason, that feels more authentic to me.
They didn't want to spend the
bizarre
money to print a picture at Kinko's. Okay, so that's our answer. Check his phone right now, see if that app's on there.
Yeah. All right, we have an email titled Mean Girl Confession. Please keep me anonymous. This might be a felony. The year is 2017. I'm in AIT, which is the school after basic training in the Army, where you go to learn your specific job. My roommate was an absolute menace to live with. Not only was she not respectful of sleep-wake times, very important in an 8-by-8-foot room with 2 beds next to each other, but she'd sneak boys in to have sex with them while she thought I was sleeping.
Gross.
She'd also regularly eat snacks in bed, which led to us getting a cockroach infestation. Well, in this 8-by-8 room, where else is she supposed to eat snacks?
You took her aside. You're like, leave her alone. She's hungry.
Somehow the eating and leaving crumbs all over was worse than waking up to two 20-year-olds going at it like teens. After about 4 months of trying to be diplomatic and resolve this behavior, I got fed up. I needed a way to get back at her. I started to take her toothbrush and periodically dunk it in the toilet every week or so.
Okay.
It was nasty.
Totally
Probably a
normal.
toilet that has been around since maybe the 60s and shared by 4 girls without reprieve. Without reprieve. It didn't solve anything, but boy, howdy, did it feel good to know I, quote, even the score between us.
Microaggression. I love it. I live for it.
This is so, it's both horrific, but also weirdly so tame, considering they're both like in their basic training. Like,
you could have killed her, but okay, go ahead. I don't know. Isn't part of military training like scrubbing the toilet with your toothbrush anyway? So I feel like it's probably pretty clean. So
in Cadet Kelly,
it's just weird.
Yeah.
In Caged Heat, scene 3. All right.
Monster-in-law. Sadly, not Jane Fonda. Hi, Iliza, Emily, Chownfu, and
Wait, that's it?
That was it. That was the confession. It was just a nice little.
You know why that confession is great? Because there are other people out there on both sides of that. And it feels really good to be like, I'm not the only person dipping someone's toothbrush in a toilet as tiny retribution.
I've heard of people doing that. Like, I feel like in TV or books or whatever, like middle school. I just would never think to do that. I don't know.
It's up there with like silently flipping someone off. Sometimes you have no power, so you have to create your own little micro fiefdom. All right.
Yes.
Moving on. Stepmom.
Monster-in-law. Sadly,
Monster-in-law.
not Jane Fonda. Hi, Iliza, Emily, Chownfu, and fam. I'm a 30-year-old female getting married this month, and I have some future mother-in-law drama that has me baffled. My future mother-in-law has been a lot to deal with since my fiance and I first started dating 10 years ago.
Oh my God.
At first, I wrote it off for her caring too much, and now I switched to feeling very direct and targeted comments meant to make me feel like shit. She's offered to pay for our rehearsal dinner and the alcohol for our wedding without us reaching out or asking for the help. We took the help because it felt like a generous offer and would help us out with our overall budget. Well, now that we are approaching the wedding, she's been making digging comments about having to work extra to pay for this expense and that she doesn't make much money as a retired single woman and that she was doing so much for us and it was a lot for her. Well, after many of these comments and telling my fiance that he owes her money, she bought a condo in the town we live in for cash and has $100,000 in cash for renovations, which I have offered to help with. We've had friends of the future mother-in-law call my fiance and I and ask if we were doing okay and if we needed any help with our wedding because mother-in-law has, quote, been unhinged lately and they could tell something was up.
What?
I'm just bracing myself for a closing act to happen at our wedding with an outburst from her. How do we handle this? Should we have a conversation with her beforehand? I do want to note that she made my fiance tell his father that his new wife was not allowed to be at the wedding. And her chewing us out for inviting our uncles to rehearsal dinner before asking her first. My mom keeps saying we need to show her love and support because she will soon be family, but she is so insanely rude and unhinged. I'm just waiting for an open moment to tell her to shove it. Can't wait to see you in SLC this November. Longtime listener, big time fan. This will be my 3rd time seeing you in person, not including the time we met at Captain Whidbey in Washington. Captain Whidbey.
I remember you. It's a really cute hotel on Whidbey Island. Years ago, Noah and I went up there right before I had Sierra. Pumped you're coming to the show in St. Louis. It's going to be great.
SLC, isn't that Salt Lake City?
Oops. Yep. Yes, it is. Get those tickets. It doesn't change the fact that the tickets are still at Iliza.com/store. I just feel like I'm unclear on this timeline. You were engaged for 10 years.
And they've been together for 10 years.
Together for 10 years. Okay, whatever. And then within the last whatever, you didn't say you got engaged. And now she offered something and then has like kind of started to walk it back and has pulled it back and also said the son owed her money. It seems like she is anxious about the fact that her son, who is her like support, is getting married. And she didn't want the uncle invited, which means she doesn't have a good relationship with her brother, or it's your dad's brother.
So she doesn't want her ex-husband's new wife can't
new
be
wife,
there.
right.
And then our question askers' uncles who are not related to her in any way, she didn't like them being invited because she wasn't asked first.
Right. She's
so it's
feeling
all control.
Yeah, it's control. It's feeling a little out to sea. The finances are not so much your business as much as the fact that she offered something. I would not take this money from her because it has too many strings attached. So I don't know if she's pulled it back or if she's offering it, But what I do know is the piece of advice that I give every woman, which is stay out of it. Stay out of it. This is a conversation. Your husband, your soon-to-be husband, and I get that you guys are very close. You are family. You've been together for 10 years. He needs to have this discussion with her, and he can bring you in after, because this is going to become a you versus her thing. Do not take her money. Do not take anything from her. And then you can always be nice to her or have like a nice emotional conversation after. Let him broach it and let him say like, I'm hearing stuff from people. It just feels like I need to know what's going on. And the money thing, there also is a version where like she offered it, didn't think she was going to have it, was able to find money, who knows, or she offered it as a way of control. Either way, you will do better having not taken it, because then you don't actually owe her anything and you can keep your nose out of it.
Yeah, you've put up with her little digs for 10 years. Just don't take her money. She won't have anything else to dig you about besides the usual. It sucks, but
what are the digs about?
It's been 10 years.
Right.
Well, I'm sure it's all more woe is me and passive aggressive and
And after 10 years, it's like, well, you are who you are because of how you are. Like, this isn't like you got a divorce, your husband took everything, woof. It's like, well, maybe you're kind of a pill. So, but do anything you can to extricate yourself from her financially.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let her hold anything over your head. It sucks to have to listen to that. And just make sure your own mom, I don't know if she's alive, I hope your own family, just make it. Just
her mom says she should be nice.
You are being nice by not ripping her head off. Keep making it about you and keep putting your husband between. It's not even between you two. It's between you and your husband and her. Like you guys are one side, but he needs to help.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. As a woman, you're like, I just want to fix this. But like, she's dealing with some stuff. And it'd be one thing if she was just a wreck, but she was nice to you. But don't give her an excuse to take it out on you, because then it will become like, oh, my wife and my mom don't get along. You don't need that.
Mm-mm.
You don't need it.
No. Hi, Iliza and Emily, and all the cute little nicknames. I don't know who all of them are yet because I'm listening to the podcast backwards. I'm very excited to see Iliza for the first time next weekend, August 17th in Atlantic City.
Yes, yes, queen.
So I think what she means by listening backwards is she just started the show and she started with the newest episode and is working back, so she doesn't know all the players.
Oh, man. Get ready to write down at least 3 names.
Her name is Val, a 32-year-old female from a suburb outside of Philly. I'll try my best to keep this short to avoid Liza saying, okay, I get it, to Emily once it goes too long. Some context.
See, you do know the show. You don't need to know all the players. You get the sentiment. Okay.
I spent the majority of my adult life taking care of myself financially, as well as supporting my significant others and even helping my mom and sister. I moved out at 16 and have always worked 2 to 3 jobs to pay my own way. I didn't want to end up like my mother. She married my dad and relied on him until he left when I was young and she couldn't afford the mortgage. We were in constant fear of losing our home as she struggled to refinance and make ends meet and somehow kept the house until after I'd moved out. But finally, it went into foreclosure in 2019. She was going to be homeless, but in a twist of fate, my father died that same month and their 19-year marriage awarded her a spousal benefit that covers rent for her apartment. Whoa. Here's how my problem started. 3 years ago, I started dating my now fiance. He moved into my apartment, and after about a year, he talked about buying a home with me. This was shortly after I had to close my business, a restaurant/cafe, because Dunkin' Donuts bought the building and kicked me out.
Oh, no.
Causing me to restart my life and career.
I relied on my credit. I'm sorry.
But we are mad at them for this.
Yeah, now it's awful. It's ruining the fabric of America. Small businesses.
I relied on my credit cards for over 2 months as I cleaned houses and searched for another job. This meant that if I did qualify for a loan, the interest rate would probably be quite high. He then told me that his parents could buy us a house in cash and we would pay them the mortgage payment instead of a bank. This made me feel very uncomfortable at first because I didn't want to feel like I owed anyone anything or potentially live somewhere that didn't have my name listed. But they eventually agreed to sign a lease agreement listing my name and plan to transfer the deed to both of us after a certain amount was paid or until we marry. We're finally planning our wedding set for June 2025. They initially told us that the house was our future wedding gift, but since then, his mother has very graciously given us more money towards the wedding. She put $2,000 towards the venue and other things. This again made me feel very, very weird. She insisted on buying us new furniture, even though I presented my store card at the furniture store to use for at least half of it. She refused. I keep feeling this is going to somehow be taken away and I'll be left homeless with no furniture. So far, nothing has happened to indicate this, but I've never had anything I didn't work for and pay for myself. So my question. I know that some people somehow include the parents on the invitations to weddings if they contribute money, I believe. I don't want my mom to be left out since she can't really contribute anything. And I'm also terrified of offending his parents, specifically mother-in-law, if I don't write their names or include them somehow. I simply don't know what the standard procedure is regarding in-laws and weddings, thanking them during the ceremony, giving them something, and specifically what to say on the invitations. How do I thank them? How do I write the invites? How the hell do I let go of my fears of losing everything?
Yeah.
Well, that's a bigger question. Sorry for the longest question. Thanks for the advice and help. I was so happy to find a podcast once we moved because it's an hour commute to work and I need something to consistently listen to. Love, Val.
Well, as the creators of one of the few podcasts in the world, I'm just glad you were able to get the resources that helped you find us. It's funny to me. It's interesting to me that you're like, I don't want to owe anyone anything. It's like, but you do. You owe your cable bill. You owe your credit card companies. You owe whoever runs your apartment. Like we all owe money to people. And a lot of women on our podcast find identity in the pain of having to be your own provider. You get a lot of women that are like, I've worked for everything my whole life. Look, we all would like help. It is this strength that we are forced to as women who have provided for ourselves. We're forced to like list it as a positive. But I would love if I had really rich parents. I would not hesitate if my mom was like, I really want to pay for your contractor. I really want to send you guys on a vacation. I'd be like, thanks. Send you a selfie. What you're dealing with is a traumatic thing. And that is growing up feeling unsure. You know, you're supposed to grow up in these safe environments where you feel protected, and that was taken away from you. So that's okay because it's motivating in you being self-reliant and in you being a business person. And it was taken away from you again when a big company bought out your building. Such as business, right? Such as commerce, such as owning a small business. Parents being listed on wedding invitations, I think of as kind of an old world thing. And it usually is, you know, when the parents are paying for everything.
Paying for
Right.
Not
right.
just 2,000.
And, you know, it's like you're not 16. They're not like giving you away to become a duchess. It's a little different. You do not have to include them, but it seems like the parents just really want to give their son and you like a great start in life, which is something all parents wish that they could do. And I guarantee you it's something your mom wishes she could do. And so I think moving forward and going to this wedding, it's okay to accept that help. This is what parents do if they can. I love that you put your name on the lease. And I think that you're an intelligent and a financially minded person. You will never end up in the position that you were in because of the lessons you learned by being in that position. You are not your mother. Your mom didn't do anything wrong. It was a different time, different constraints, different, you know, it's not about that. You won't end up like that because you're mindful of it. But that doesn't mean you can't take help, and it doesn't mean that you can't be grateful for it. And frankly, a lovely wedding speech, a lovely note to them, taking them out to lunch, taking the mom out to lunch to just express your gratitude and to just say how much, you know, the son means to you and how much their like love and support has meant. They obviously know you. They obviously love you. I don't think they would be as gung-ho if they didn't love you, but this is your family now. And I guarantee you parents with money like that understand that your mom doesn't have that kind of money. You can treat both of the parents the same at the wedding. If his parents walk him down the aisle, your mom walks you down the aisle. You can give a thank you speech to either of them or no speeches. But the fear that you're living with is a healthy one that you probably won't shake anytime in this lifetime. And that's okay because it has made you the woman that you are, right?
Yeah.
These are all good things, to be honest.
Yeah. And it's smart to not want to be taken for a ride. But so far, it sounds like everyone has their best interests, your best interests at heart, and that you're making the right steps so as not to get taken advantage of if something goes crazy wrong.
And by the way, like your mom, it was a different time, probably was not a small business owner, probably did not have a job, probably had the house in your dad's name. Like he did everything. It's just not, that's not going to happen. It isn't happening. And you're going to be married. So, and I don't know what state you're in, but I would check the divorce laws in that state. But don't let the fear about who you could have been in a different circumstance, and don't let the mistakes your mom made materialize into something other than just a lesson to learn from.
Yeah.
You're not her. Unless she's super hot, then you might want to be her.
Top of the cob.
It's the top of the cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite. Top of the cob.
Fans first.
Top or bottom?
Top. No, bottom. Let's go out on a high note. Bottom.
My bottom of the cob, encountering an overly courteous driver. I know they mean well. They want to do the thing on the road that others typically don't, like letting others go first at a four-way intersection, even though it's their turn, or intentionally stopping on a street to let a car turn in front of them when the traffic in their lane has already started to move. These all seem like good intentions, but in my opinion, cause more harm than good because their self-induced pat on the back is typically breaking the rules the rest of the drivers are trying to abide by, causing confusion. The no you go at the four-way intersection usually turns into a little
dangerous
tennis match. Yeah.
Well, that just means you don't know rules. It's always the person to the right has a right of way. Like you don't get to decide
Or if you get there first.
traffic rules. Yeah, there you go.
No, you go. The driver leaving the gap causes delays for everyone behind them, and the lane to the right of them won't always see the car turning in front.
Okay, we know.
To sum it up, courteous
That's-
driving is bad driving with better PR. And I would prefer everyone just follow the established rules we all agreed to when we took our DMV tests. Love the entire team. Thanks for adding a video element. Finally, Brad.
Courteous is like, yeah, you can get in this turn lane because you clearly made a mistake and you asked me if you could get over, or I'm letting you get into a lane that I'm in. Other than that, like just because you're having a good day doesn't mean you get to change traffic laws. I hear you on that one. It usually just means the person doesn't know what's going on. It's more dangerous. Yeah. Okay. What's yours?
My bottom is trash in that I have cats. I give them cat food, and then I rinse the cans, and then I put it in my little recycling. There's always fruit flies. They're in the trash can. The trash can has a lid. They're always here. I don't want them to be here, but it's like I'm not going to take every can 3 times a day out to the outside dumpster. That's insane.
Gotta stop eating that fruit. It's in the fruit. They live in the fruit.
I don't have any fruit. They're just here.
They live in the fruit roll-up. They live in the gushers. Yeah, they're there.
And I keep trying every stupid hack of like how you kill them, and it doesn't work.
I'm sick. Okay, I'm sure you haven't. Stop eating.
That's the only answer. The cats have to stop eating too. What about you? Do you have a bottom?
Okay, here's a bottom of the cob. I spend a lot of money with my credit card. I put my whole life on my credit card, and I do it for the miles. And when I go to cash in those miles, somebody had something similar to this on our podcast the other week. I think it's bullshit that I was trying to buy a round trip ticket to Japan with miles. And they're like, yeah, here's the miles plus a $50 processing fee. Why?
Always.
Why? I put millions of miles on this car. Why? Why do they always have, and then it's just $6.99 and it's just a $14 fee. And handling fee. Bake it in, especially if people are spending a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
It's such an annoying thing to see. Or you bought a $15,000 ticket, $50 processing, so I can have a cigarette break and fart in my cubicle. Do better.
Good, the cigarettes cover the farts.
Oh, God, die. Top of the cob.
Top of the cob. From the fan. My top of the cob is that we recently moved from a really hardcore red state to a blue state, and I could not be happier. The city we moved to is really liberal and accepting of people and human rights, and it's insane how unusual that is in our current world. I am also a teacher, and I can't wait to get back in the classroom in what seems to be a more supportive environment.
All right, Emily, your top?
My top is that I have been able to, the work that I have done and something I enjoy got me a cool opportunity in that, I've been doing Tasteless. I've been doing Strong Female Leads.
Yeah.
And then Jennifer Esposito, who was on Tasteless 3 years ago, just put out a movie that I loved. It was so good. She wrote, directed, produced it, mortgaged her house to pay for it. And it is genuinely a phenomenal film. And because I have the show and I have the rapport with her, I reached out and asked if she wanted to talk about it. And I got to talk to her today about specifically that film, for a podcast,
cool.
not just like for me, like, can I call you on the phone, but specifically about this film that there were so many layers to, and like speak about specific scenes that I thought were cool. And I was like, gosh, all this work that I've put into Tasteless is like kind of worth it. Like that was really just a cool experience. So that's my top.
I love that. I love it's funny. I was thinking about that today. Like when you really put in the work for something and then you just get to enjoy it later and it just kind of becomes what it becomes. Like had I not like killed myself in my 20s and 30s, I wouldn't be able to, do a podcast that has 50 listeners. So, but little things like that, like you just put out the work and you see who likes it. Good for you. Congratulations. My top of the cob has just been this vacation that I've been on. Summer is a notoriously slow time of year, particularly for Hollywood. And I realize now, and I'm probably going to still go back to this, like how you fill your day with like working out, having coffee, scrolling through Instagram, checking this, trying this. But like last week was particularly slow in LA in general. And it was really nice to set the phone down and like just take just walks in nature, go outside with my daughter, like just not even look at my phone, but just I allow myself to de-stress in a way that I don't think I could do at home. And it's nice to have like a neurological reset. And even today I was frustrated. So I just like went for a walk in nature and I looked at the banana slugs and like, I cannot live like this always, but it's nice to know that my body is capable of letting go of a little bit of anxiety.
Do you sleep better there?
I sleep
or
like
do
a
you
rock.
in general sleep okay?
I sleep like a rock. I have no problem with it. Yeah. It takes a little bit. Have the window open, little drafty, still got to wear a breathe right strip. I got to get that looked at. Some sort of nostril enlargement ceremony. But I will see you this weekend in Atlantic City and in Hanover, Maryland. These are going to be big sort of end of summer shows. Then I'm coming to Calgary for a massive Great Outdoors Festival. Winnipeg. We've got Minnesota. And that's just the tip of the fall iceberg, baby, because we got a lot of cities coming up and I'm already scheduling Atlanta. We got Nashville. We got everything. But you guys already know that. And of course, come on out to see me at my taping in Salt Lake City for my new Amazon special. The pants have already been chosen. The nails have been ordered. The name of the special is still up in the air.
In the California Road Trip Republic, we believe you take adventure for a ride. Whether coastal cruising, mountain motoring, or redwood roaming, discover beauty around every turn. Your road trip can kick off from anywhere. Starting route. But it should always start at visitcalifornia.com. Then buckle up, crank those tunes, and discover why California is the ultimate playground.
Life can throw a lot your way in the morning. You might be battling drop-off times, while your kids are battling imaginary monsters or their shoelaces. But no matter what life brings, Life cereal puts a smile on everyone's face. With 24 grams of whole grains and unexpected sweetness in every serving, it's sure to please even the pickiest eaters. Help start your mornings with Life cereal.
I really love my life.